where you can see my oak.
Great, because like, I've always.
So I've just arrived at the Rochester Pug Hotel to talk to Tasha about why she boards pugs and what it is she loves about the breed.
So where did it all start then?
We took Millie and Daisy to dog training, and one of the trainers there said, you know, you should start up a dog boarding business. We thought, as we love dogs and pugs, that we thought we'd do a specific pug boarding because we know all about their health issues and how to look after pugs. Yeah, no, as long as you know what you're looking for, then it's not a concern really. But it's just you have to really, as I said, do your research and make sure you know what to look out for.
Peggy, this way.
So why pugs? What is it about them that you like?
Pugs. Basically, I can remember being really, really small and having a list of what I wanted when I grew up. It's only been the last few years that I've been in a position where I can give the pugs what they need. They're a nice size to take anywhere with you. You can pick them up, put them on the train, on the car, whatever. They have got baby-like features. They've got very high forehead and these big eyes. Pugs will look at you directly, which a lot of dogs, in my experience, don't. Indoors as well, they'll always follow you around. So if you've got more than one pug, and say you've gone upstairs and only one's followed you, you need to know what the others are up to, because I can guarantee they'll be doing something they shouldn't do. They're really quite naughty. As one over there at the moment is trying to get in the bags.
What advice would you give to someone that's looking to get a pug?
Without preaching to them, I would try and say, is it really a pug that you want?
Right.
Will they suit your lifestyle?
Yeah.
Have you looked into the health problems? Because you need money to have pugs.
Yeah.
They are such high maintenance. They might think they're tough and they might look quite tough, but they're not actually.
And what kind of health complications do they face?
So the main one is obviously their eyes stick out a lot more than normal dogs, so they're prone to eye ulcers. They've also got they can get ear infections quite regularly because of their narrow ear canals. The breathing obviously can cause an enlarged heart. They get hip dysplasia, and obviously the wrinkle, if that's not cleaned regularly, they'll get an infection in there as well. So yes, lots of infections with pugs.
Right. So I guess that's something that people have to consider if they're thinking of getting a pug.
Yeah, massively, yeah.
I'm here at Last Chance Rescue to speak to them about what they do and meet some of the dogs that need new homes. So what's your role here?
I'm the centre manager here, so I've organised dogs coming in, dogs being rehomed.
How many dogs do you got at the minute?
We've got about 30 at the moment. We normally have between 30 and 40, so we're fairly quiet at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So you must find it quite difficult seeing all the dogs coming in and grow attached to them.
It is difficult. Some of them, especially if they come in poor condition or they've had a hard time, but we know that once they come to us, it gets better for them, so that's good to know. I mean, sometimes it is heartbreaking when they come in and they're really underweight or they've been starved or something.
So what was the story of the two huskies that we saw? Because we saw that it said that they'd come in quite skinny.
Yes, they came into us from a Welsh pound, so they were picked up straying, picked up together. We think they're probably brother and sister. They've obviously lived together, they're very attached to each other. So they did their 10 days in the pound. They weren't microchipped, so we have no way of contacting previous owners, and they didn't get claimed. So they get sent down to us. We go up every other Tuesday and bring down whatever dogs are waiting in the pound.
Is there a problem with popular breeds coming in?
We always get a lot of Staffy types, and we get a lot of Jack Russells. We're seeing a lot more Huskies recently, and we're seeing a lot more sort of pugs and pug crosses and that kind of thing.
Is there a common reason that the pugs come in?
A lot of the time when they come in, they've got some kind of health problem, whether it be related to the short nose, like to do with breathing and that kind of thing, or they are quite prone to eye infection, ear infection, skin conditions and stuff like that. So people have probably bought them as a puppy, then they've developed a problem, and then they don't want to deal with it, so then they rehome them. I think a lot of the time as well, people think with pugs, because they're small, they think they're going to be easy, kind of very laid back, and a lot of the time they are, but they can still, especially if they're crossed with something like a Jack Russell, they can still be very lively, and I think a lot of people don't expect it.
Yeah. What are their rescue stories?
Okay, mine particularly, the ones I've got, I tend to take the ones on that are a bit needy. They might have health problems or emotional problems. The only one I've got, he basically, his mummy was told when he was a puppy not to overwalk him. She took that literally, and he never went out the house for the first 3 years of his life. When I took him, he had no social skills whatsoever. He's very, very attached to me because I was the first person that he saw when he came out of the house. We've then got Peggy. She was left in the flat for 15, 16 hours a day until somebody would go in, bring them down from the upstairs flat and let them go to the toilet. When she came to me, she weighed 15 kilos. She was double the weight she is now. She's now 7.5. She literally looked like a bowling ball. It was really quite stressful, and she could have died. Nothing. They average 6 to 8 kilos is the ideal weight. Most of them are going to be a little bit over that, but that's not a problem as long as they're fit and healthy. And then we've got Chuchi Bear. He is what I call my special needs. We rescued him from a breeder in Brighton, him and his mummy. He had no hair at about 6 months old, and he couldn't see or hear because his infections were so bad. He also had a hernia. His mummy was exactly the same. What it's done now is it's left him that he can't see more than 12 feet in front of him, but because of that, he's a very, very happy little dog. You just have to watch him though, because if he wanders off, you need to get him back again. Here!
Just like now.
Yeah, he's very interactive though. I feel I would rather give a needy one a home. They're fashionable, they're a fashion item, and a lot of them are bought for that, or for younger children. You know, I'll hear people with children as young as 2 saying, oh, we're getting a pug for my daughter's 2nd birthday.
Right.
And I sort of say, but why? You know, they're not a fashion item, they're not an accessory. They are a live animal when it comes down to it, and need a lot of care and attention.
So that's a lot of the reason I think people get them, because they're quite fashionable now, and then if they find there's a problem like that and they don't want to deal with vet bills and stuff, then they end up here. So yeah, that's why we're seeing more of a rise with that kind of breed. The short-nosed breeds are getting more popular, but they have their health issues.
So with fashionable breeds, is that quite a big problem as well?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot more huskies, probably because they're in these Game of Thrones or whatever it is now, and people don't realise, like they see a nice, handsome, nice-looking dog, but they don't realise how much work they need, because they're bred for pulling sleds and stuff like that. So they need a lot of exercise, and if they don't get it, then they get frustrated, they get destructive, they start having behaviour issues, and then they end up somewhere like this.
Right. Is fashionable breeds quite a big problem here?
It can be. We're starting to see a lot more husky types, I think because of Game of Thrones and stuff like that. And people don't realise how much exercise they need. Like they see a nice looking dog, but they don't realise that they're bred for breeding, for pulling sledges and stuff like that. So they need a lot of exercise. They can quite happily run around for 6-7 hours a day, and they obviously don't get that generally in a home. So then they start getting destructive, or they get frustrated. They can be quite difficult in that sense if they don't get what they need. So then they can end up coming in here as well.
It's a shame that they're being too overbred, because they used to be a lot taller and their nose come out a lot further. But yeah, it's a shame. But I think as much as the demand is for pugs, people are going to carry on breeding them.
So if I can do my bit by at least giving some rescue ones a home, then I feel I've done. I can't save them all, but I can do my little bit.
Yeah.